Hey everybody, what's up? It's Matt Ramsey, and I'm really excited to work with my girlfriend and partner and amazing singer, Franchesca Mejia, because I think it'd be really cool to work with an actual singer here. So the subject for today is we're going to be actually, talking about answering your biggest singing questions, and I thought it'd be cool to demonstrate with a voice today. So maybe if you want to just introduce yourself and just say hi and all that stuff.
Howdy, I'm Franchesca, and I'm here. I'm very excited. I sing a lot and I enjoy singing, but I do believe Matt Ramsey will be rehabbing my voice.
Yes. So the idea today, if you guys can kind of hear her voice, was basically she's suffering a little bit with kind of a raspy voice today. And so, one of the biggest things that we're going to be working on is just trying to get her voice back to normal today. And it was something that I think a lot of singers struggle with. And I thought it'd be helpful for everyone to do that. So before we actually get into that, just want to bring it up that we just reopened enrollment for 30-Day Songmaster, which is my monthly program where every month everyone learns to sing a new song together. And those songs are chosen specifically to help people with a specific vocal skill. Like, 1 month it's like we're learning to sing vibrato with a song that's really good at teaching vibrato. Any idea of a song that teaches a lot of vibrato?
Other than something like operatic.
Yeah, other than something contemporary. These aren't your grandparents' songs. These are like, contemporary commercial music. Any ideas? Oh my love.
Unchained Melody.
Unchained Melody is a good one. So pop quiz for everyone that's in the chat right now. We've got 19 people in the chat. I know we're going to have a lot more by the end of this. But for the people that are watching, if you can hear that Franchesca's voice is a little bit raspy today, what do you guys think are some of the most brutal professions on your voice? Does anyone have any idea about some of the hardest professions? And where this is coming from is there are a couple of professions that people have studied that have like the most cases of vocal pathology. That means that the most cases of vocal damage and stuff like that happen. Any ideas? We got 17 people in the chat. I want to see 17 answers. What do you guys got? Any ideas? Do you have any ideas?
Well, I'm glad I didn't say what I did then.
Good, yeah, I know. I was like, we're keeping it a secret. Let's see. Anyone have any ideas? Okay, good. And by the way, do put your questions in the chat as you have them. But any questions about that or any answers of professions that are really brutal on your voice? Anyone have any idea? Besides voice teachers, that is. What do you think? Do you have any other ideas? So
But nurses, right?
Okay, nurses is one of your guesses. Okay. Anybody else? Any other professions? Lone Luna says voice acting.
Or actors in general.
Caden says opera, like operatic singers. Think of it this way. What are some professions for people that talk a lot, who talk for a living, and they have to speak really forcefully? Okay, so I'll give you guys the answer. So there's two professions are the most likely to strain their voice. What's the first one?
Teachers.
Teachers are the biggest. For McDonald's employees, that's only if that was only before they created the new value menu. Everyone was so mad about the prices they were paying. Military leaders, says Leland. That's a good guess as well. But teachers are the number one, and number two are actually salespeople. People that have to talk and sell a whole lot, which is having 5 siblings. That's hilarious. Good Lone Luna. So, Franchesca is a fantastic orchestra teacher. And you want to just talk a little bit about who you teach, where you teach, all that stuff?
Yeah, I teach in the Central Texas area. I teach orchestra to middle schoolers. And we just started school a week and a half ago. And it's very common that when the school year starts, my voice turns into something like this.
Yeah. And so even though Franchesca is an amazing singer and knows how to project her voice, you know, some people, they just still have to deal with, you know, raspiness and strain in their voice, and it just as a consequence of what they do for a living. So she has to yell at kids all day long. Maybe not yell at them.
Sternly speak.
Sternly speak to them. So let's do a couple of exercises just to get your voice a little bit warmed up. And guys, if you're watching along at home, we're going to start off with basically doing some slightly more supportive exercises to get the voice working across the vocal range, in the bottom, the top, in the middle of the voice. And then as we continue the lesson, we're probably going to go towards exercises that are slightly less supportive, slightly more open, to see if we can take some of the good things that are happening in her voice and start to work on them. But, you know, we haven't rehearsed any of this stuff yet. This is all live.
I haven't warmed up.
And you haven't, and she hasn't warmed up. So we're just taking her where she is. Sashwat asks, she can sing. Yes, she's a fantastic singer. We'll see. Today you're a great singer anyway. So let's just start off with a couple of 5-tone scales. So we're just going to do some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But rather than on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I want you to just do that on the lip trill. So letting the lips flop together on. Good. Awesome. Good. Now that's an F sharp on the top, and she's going to start transitioning up to her head voice, probably around the G or A flat. So I'm aware in the back of my mind that she's starting to get up towards that area. And you can even hear that she's getting a little bit lighter in the top part of her voice there. Whereas when we started, she was really strong all the way through. Now she's, it's just getting a little bit lighter up there. So keep that nice and strong if you can. Good, one more like that. Coming down. 2, 3, go. Good. It's okay, you can spit all over me, it's fine. Good. You changed that one, so you pulled your tongue out. So yeah, the tongue should be touching the bottom front teeth at the gum line. 2, 3, go. Perfect. Good. And the reason that I start off down there is I want to start off in a place where a singer is already kind of in a comfortable place in their voice, not pushing it too high, too fast, or anything like that. But next up, what we're going to do is we're going to do some 1.5 octave arpeggios, where I'm bringing you up from the bottom part of your voice up to the top part and back down. And the reason that we're doing this is because, like, when the voice is really, really raspy like this, what causes that is when you're pushing your vocal cords together really hard. And the vocal cords are just flesh and blood, like everything else in your body, right? And so when you punch them together a whole lot, they get kind of swollen. So if you can kind of like imagine that you're like taking a sensitive part of your skin and you just keep slapping it over and over and over again, first it's going to get kind of red, but then the next day you might even see some marks or something on your skin. And the same thing is true with the vocal cords if you push them too hard, too much. And so the point of today is to kind of help decompress and almost massage back into movement of the vocal cords. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do an 1.5 octave arpeggio. So triplet, 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 done. So we're doing that on an 1.5 octave, but on the trill. So good. That's awesome. Keep it going. Good. And you guys might not be able to hear this, but she's kind of topping out on that top note where it's getting like the voice just kind of stops working up there. Does that mean that we shouldn't do those notes at all? No, it just means that we might need to use a couple of special techniques to get there. So do that one more time just so everyone can hear. that was better. Good. And what I want you to focus on this time is, again, just keeping that kind of feeling. So run where the voice kind of goes back. Focus on keeping it forward, like kind of forward. 2, 3, go. Good. Hey, she rescued it. Good. Good job. Good. Keep that feeling real. Where the tongue's pulled back. Even though it sounds kind of ugly. Much better. Good job. One more time on that. Good. Get it on those bottom ones, really. See if you can keep those even stronger too. Just say that for me. Yeah, that's the feeling. Yeah. And maybe you guys can hear that there's like a little bit of that breathiness in her voice too, right? And so that kind of goes back to what I was talking about. If like you hit the chords together really hard for a long period of time, they stop being able to close completely from bottom to top, which is what creates like a really rich kind of strong vibration. So if they're puffy, they might just kind of like the middle parts might touch, but the tops and the bottoms might be kind of out of line, which is where you get a little bit of that kind of breathiness sound. Yeah. Okay, now do that same thing starting from the top. Good. Good. Keep that feeling. Yeah, so run as forward as you can make it sound. Good. Wonderful. And I want you guys at home to be practicing right along with us. Good. Good job. Now I'm going to give her voice a chance to rest for a second. And just a quick reminder, we did just reopen enrollment for 30-Day Songmaster, where every month you learn to sing a new song and you actually send in a recording of yourself singing that song to get personalized feedback from me, all for one low monthly price. So definitely check that out. So one thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to start answering some people's questions that they were dropping in the chat. So go ahead and please do drop any questions that you might have in the chat. We're kind of using today as like a little bit of a cheat because she has to sing at church tomorrow, and her voice is a little raspy from.
It is very raspy.
But it's starting to sound a little bit better already.
Sometimes people like that low voice. So,
The low voice, yeah. Got it. A little Maddie here. And since she has to sing tomorrow, basically we're doing the right thing for her, which is actually, even when your voice is really, really tired and fatigued, if you saw a vocal coach, they're going to try to help you get your voice back in a very gradual way. So we're not going 0 to 100. Instead, we're just warming up the engine just gently ahead of time. And you're drinking plenty of water to help along with that process. So let me answer a couple questions. So Caden said, hey, Matt, does it take mixed voice or falsetto to sing C5 for a tenor? Well, Caden, think about any of those notes in the top part of your voice. Think of mixed voice and falsetto as different effects that you can use, different kind of voicings, different kind of sounds that you can put into your singing voice. So that C5, you could sing it, whoo, in falsetto, where my vocal cords are pretty thin, so I'm not getting a lot of resonance on them, so just the top parts are touching, which is why you can hear some of that breathiness in the sound. Now, if I sing it in a mixed voice, I'm getting more closure in my vocal cords, which is helping create that stronger sound. Now, both of them are kind of in a head voice configuration, meaning I'm not just singing that C5 in chest voice. I'm not just pushing up towards it. However, I've learned how to get a little bit more resonance on that note, so it's not just weak and breathy. But keep in mind, sometimes you want that weak and breathy sound, right? Like you were talking about, some people like those raspy, breathy sounds. You're welcome, Caden. So, Sashwat said, "Hey Matt, I sound like a pitcher when singing higher notes. Is what head voice cause people wouldn't even recognize it if it was coming out of my mouth." Sashwat, you're gonna have to clarify that. I didn't get that at all. So maybe just rewrite that another way. Let's see. Luna says, "For the past few days, every time I try singing with my head in mixed voice, my voice keeps cutting off and ends up sounding very airy and feels dry when singing. Please, what can I do about it?" Okay, so one of the key words that you said there is that it feels dry. When I hear singers talk about feeling dryness in their voice, to me, what that says to me is that, again, kind of like what we were talking about with the falsetto, is like the vocal cords aren't closing all the way. Because sometimes when you pass a lot of air past your vocal cords, but they're not vibrating correctly, sometimes that feels kind of aggravating for your voice. So if I sing it, I'm basically just keeping my vocal cords really thin and letting a lot of air pass through them. And that kind of feels aggravating because I'm not actually getting that full vibration in my cords. And so as a result, it kind of just feels like a little aggravating, like air is just passing through them. Maybe you can demonstrate a little bit of that too. Why don't you sing that? Yeah. Now, see if you can add just even a little bit more of kind of like you're trying to reach the back of the room, like, yeah. Now just say, oops.
Oops.
Yeah, oops.
Oops.
Exactly. So that was,
oops.
Yeah, that was the oops that you just sang. Do it again. Oops. You don't,
oops.
Yeah, don't even sing it. Just say it. Oops.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's right. Right. So without even thinking about it, she didn't go, oops. She went, oops. Now her voice is a little under the weather today, and so it sounds a little bit raspy still, but rather than having to go with that, oops, where it feels kind of aggravating for her voice, we naturally, when we speak, because our intention is to communicate, we naturally use that full vibration in our vocal cords. So great question there. So Schwartz says, "Can anyone tell me if I'm a tenor or not? I can sing from A2 to F4 in chest voice, and in my head voice or falsetto, I can go up to E5. Sounds like it to me, so Schwartz. But the thing that I'm always hammering on is your voice type, aka bass, baritone, tenor, alto, mezzo, and soprano, is not just determined by your vocal range. Now, a lot of people think that. They're like, oh, if I find my lowest note up to my highest note, oh, then that means I'm 100% a baritone or a tenor or an alto or a mezzo. But just as important as your vocal range is your vocal weight. Okay, so everyone listening to my voice, what voice type do you think I am? You have three choices: bass, baritone, and tenor. So I can sing from a C3 up to a C5 without a whole lot of trouble. But when you listen to my speaking voice, it's also really, really pretty high, pretty clear, very much a tenor voice. Caden got it exactly right. Whereas like when I was younger and I didn't have any idea how to hit higher notes in my voice, my highest note was like an E4 or an F4. And so I thought that I was a baritone because like that's where basses and baritones kind of go up to, right? But if you listen to my voice, it's like I'm very, very obviously a tenor. What voice type do you guys think that Franchesca is?
Well, I always thought it was one thing, and you always say it's another thing.
Yeah, so you could just talk a little bit and just
it's a little low right now.
It's a little low right now, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think that she is? Keep talking.
Well, every time I sing in a choir,
I
always sing a particular voice part, but I guess you've opened up my voice enough and like made me realize that I'm not that voice part.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of really illuminating.
Well, I was gonna say, like,
exciting.
Okay, so Kaden got it, I think, exactly right. I do think that she's a mezzo soprano. So what she's talking about is that you usually sing which part?
Alto.
She always sings alto whenever she's abducted into whatever choir
someone plucks me into.
Yeah, whatever choir someone drags her into because she's such a great singer. And then we've talked about how I think that she's probably more of some sort of a soprano, probably a mezzo soprano, because she does have low range, but she also has exceptional high range.
But I've never had vocal training,
right?
So I have never been able to access that range.
Yeah,
until I met you.
Yeah, well, and here's my point. What effect has me telling you that you're a mezzo had on your career? None, right? It doesn't matter. It kind of doesn't matter what voice type you are, because what really matters is your ability to sing across your vocal range from low to high, and to be able to sing on pitch and all these other things. So voice type doesn't really matter as much as, several hundred years ago, where it was like, okay, we have a soprano part in this opera, so we need to, audition just sopranos, right? Nowadays, if you're a commercial singer of any sort, meaning you're singing pop, rock, R&B, whatever, it doesn't matter. You still have to be able to sing across all those different parts. Let's see. Alok says, hey, sir. Oh, is it right? Let me go back up. Sorry, to Nosos, who said, is it right to feel your chest vibrating when you sing? Yes. We call that sympathetic resonance. Go ahead and place your hand on your chest. Good. And say, hi, my name is Franchesca.
Hi, my name is Franchesca.
Good. Do you feel some vibration there?
A lot.
Yeah. Now say it up really high like you're making.
Hi, my name is Francesca.
Hi, my name is Francesca.
Hi, my name is Francesca.
Good.
Yeah. More,
less, or the same amount of vibration?
Hi. Less.
Less. Yeah. And so where does that vibration go? If you place your hand on the back of your head, hi, my name is Francesca.
Hi, my name is Francesca.
Up high.
Hi, my name is Francesca.
Yeah. So that's why they call it chest voice and head voice, because they were feeling that resonance shifting from lower in the body, in the torso, up towards the head. That's why they called it that. Right now, do I need to see a doctor? No, I don't think you need to see a doctor. And that's why they call it chest voice and head voice. But does that mean that you're actually singing from your chest or you're actually singing from your head? No. All singing comes from your vocal cords, which are inside of your larynx in the middle of your throat, right there. Great question. Is it best to keep some form of practice even when you have a hoarse feeling in your voice, or is it best to rest? If so, for how long? So I actually have a take on this. Go ahead and tell me what you think.
Well, I feel the way I feel right now. Like my voice is suffering now, and here we are singing. That's my take.
But the thing is that you're singing with a vocal coach who's taught a lot of people through this. Now, a lot of people, when they're practicing on their own or they're learning on their own and their voice is hoarse, my advice would be to stop, because you might make something a little bit worse. Like if you don't know if you're singing correctly. But if you're singing with somebody who knows what they're doing and has experience working with people that, are trying to sound a little bit better or get their voice back, then that's fine, I think. But most people who are watching this, because y'all don't have vocal coaches except for me, right? Then I think that's best to kind of rest it, because you don't really know what's causing that. Okay, let's do a little more singing. So give me just a couple more of those octave and a half.
And they're going to sing too.
They're going to sing too. Are you guys going to sing too? Yes. 1, 2, 3, go. That E5 is already sounding better in her voice. Good job. Good. One more time to run. Keeping that forward. Tongue forward. Good. Take a deep breath. Good job. No, we've got to fix for that. So we're up to A flat 5 now. Now I know that she can get to C6, no problem. But for right now, what I want you to do, babe, is when you get up to that high note, I want you to focus on blowing more air through the lips. So you're kind of starting to blow more air when you get up to the top, okay? One more time. But it was working. You see it? 2, 3, go. Good job. One more like that. Good job. Excellent. Right on. Nice job. Good. Now, there's a couple different ways. Could you guys hear how, like, when she was getting up that high, she was straining a little bit more around the A flat 5, around the A5? Could you guys hear that as well? That her voice was kind of cutting out a little bit? Now, there's a couple of different ways that we could fix that. Since we're both sitting down, I decided that you blowing a little bit more air and focusing on that was probably a good way to do it. But if you're at home, one thing that you could do is you can do a bend forward as you're singing up to that top note. So you can actually bend forward as you're approaching that top note. So like you kind of like start standing straight up on the lower notes, and as you go up, you start to bend forward a bit. And what that does is that engages a little bit more of the diaphragm. Go ahead.
I think about, like, I know a lot of mistakes I made in the past was I was moving my body upwards.
Yes.
Trying to think of, like, I did that, I could get it, and not actually moving this way.
Exactly.
What a common mistake.
Yeah. And just to clarify to everyone, what you're talking about is like when you would go up for high notes, you would kind of start to lift your neck, or you would raise your eyes and lift your body in order to get up to other high notes.
Lift my heels up.
Yeah. Does anyone else feel that when they go up for higher notes that they kind of raise something in their body? I used to lift my eyebrows. I still do sometimes. I'm like, I'll push them up there. Yeah. Okay. You guys too. And the reason that it's important that you work against that is because if you feel like you have to lift something up in your body, singing doesn't really work like that. Your vocal cords don't actually work like that. There is no up or there is no down when it comes to your vocal cords. Instead, they're either just going from more thick towards more thin, just like a rubber band between my fingers. Like they're thicker in the chest voice, and then as I pull my fingers apart, they're getting thinner, and that's how you get a higher sound. So it's not really anything's lower or higher than anything else. Great job. Okay, now, just because I want to get towards some slightly more open exercises, let's do a gee, gee, gee. Like, yeah, like you're saying gee. So, gee, 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 2, 3, go. Good. Now on the top row, try to get the same thing. It's like keeping those tongue touching those bottom front teeth. Just say geese.
Geese.
Good. Now higher. Geese.
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 That's the feeling. Nice job. Good. Good. Now go ahead and add just a little bit of kind of a yawny sound to that. Kind of like you're not very smart, like rather than gee 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 and squeezing gee 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 gee, almost like an opera singer. Nice job. Remember to push a little bit more air when you get up to that top one. 3, 4. Nice job. Hey. Your eyes lit up. 2, 3, go. Nice job. And I like that you're kind of like angling forward a little bit, right? You know, pulling back. One more time. like you're saying the word. Say gee, gee, gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Good. Now say it kind of dumb. Gee, gee, gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Yeah, kind of like, what was it, Goofy? From the...
Yeah.
Gee, gee, gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Same feeling. 3, 4.
Gee, 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 gee,
Yeah.
gee,
Nice
gee.
job.
Good.
Good. We lost a little bit of enunciation there. Again. Nice. That's sounding really good, and that's an F5, by the way. What's the highest that you have to sing in your choir usually?
I'm like probably an F.
Yeah, E is one that you talk about
Yeah,
a lot. F.
E and F, like
Mhm.
rarely does alto line, but sometimes, especially if it's like a unison with sopranos, it might
Yeah.
be up there.
Yeah, totally. But we got you up to A flat.
I know.
Yeah, no problem. No problem whatsoever. And again, it's just kind of like when you're going up that high in your voice, there's a couple of special techniques that you have to use to get those notes to cooperate, especially on days when your voice isn't feeling so well. Good. Let it rest for a second. And let me answer a couple more questions. By the way, we did just reopen enrollment on our monthly program, 30-Day Song Master, where every month we actually learn to sing a new song that teaches a specific vocal skill. And then on the 20th of every month, you actually send in a recording of yourself singing to get personalized feedback from me. So definitely check it out. It's an insanely good deal. Let's see, where did I leave off? Let's see.
He reworded his question about being a pitcher.
Okay, so Shwat reworded his question. I was asking that I go pitcher. Maybe you're trying to say off pitch. Maybe you go pitchy or off pitch when you sing higher notes, anything above an F4 or G4, and go up to E5. So it is head voice that my mouth is producing, or I'm just pitcher. So we're confusing a couple different things here, I think. Okay, so your ability to sing on pitch is your ability to sing in tune or on the pitch. You're trying to match the notes in your voice. Now, what I think you're trying to say is that when you go up to certain high notes in your voice, you start to go more off pitch than when you're in a kind of comfortable place in your voice. So that is actually really common. I actually call it convenient pitching, which means that when you have to go up to higher notes in your voice, people tend to go flat because they don't want to let their voice go all the way up there. And when you have to sing lower notes in your voice, you tend to go sharp because those are uncomfortable for you to reach. And so what I would recommend, Sashwat, is try to find an area of your voice where you feel like you're really, really on pitch, and then try to expand on that. Let's see. Caden says, do you think it's possible for a baritone to transition into a tenor range? No. You're born a specific voice type. Once you go through your adolescent change, like in your teens and stuff like that, and your voice continues developing into your early and mid 20s, once it kind of settles in that place, that's what you are. Kind of like, I'm always going to have, well, not always, but I'm going to have brown hair. I was born with the genetics for brown hair. I might go gray eventually. What color hair were you born with?
Brown.
With brown as well, right? Which would be different from someone that was born with blonde hair, for example. Like, and so they're always going to be a blonde, and we're always going to be brunettes or having brown hair. Does that mean that we can't dye it to be other colors? Well, if I look to my right, then yes, I would say that you can dye it to be those other parts. And so my analogy is this. You're born with a specific set of genetics. So you're either a baritone or a tenor or a bass, right? Does that mean that you can't sing in those baritone or bass or other tenor ranges? No, you absolutely can. But you're always probably going to sound like that specific voice type. Let's see. Luna says, sorry, I have another. Are there different types of whistle notes, or everyone whistle notes sound different? I would say whistle notes are pretty specific to the singer. Not everyone can do whistle notes. And I would say, yeah, I would say they all sound different for different people. There are some people that kind of like BS their whistle notes. Like I can kind of BS whistle notes, but there's no control in them. But other singers, they seem to have a natural ability to sing and whistle register there. Let's see. Claudette says voice types only matter to a certain point. With good technique, you will extend your range. Yes, could not agree more. You said it better than I did. Let's see. Your last name is Salriel. Says, "Hi, is good singing when when the front of your mouth is vibrating and not straining in your throat." You know what you're talking about, that Salriel, is placement. So a lot of people feel that if they place the tone forward in the front of their mouth, then that's going to create a specific sound. So I'm saying, I'm placing the tone forward rather than where I'm placing the tone back, right? So what is good singing? I would say good singing is knowing which type of sound or where to place the tone depending on what specific sound you're trying to create. So if I'm trying to sing musical theater, probably isn't going to work. Like that's too operatic sounding. It's too dark sounding, where I have to have like a more commercial or a very like modern type of sound when I go up to those higher notes. Let's see. How do I practice my head voice? Well, let's work on a little head voice, shall we? Okay, so go ahead and just give me a couple of those keys real quick again, just to get you in that mode. So good. And no, you're good. Try not to push it and punch it at the top. Just blow more air. Good. Don't push it. Good. Now you can add just a little bit more assertiveness at the top. Yeah, but keep enunciating the G's, alright? Nice job. Okay, now do that same thing. This is a head voice exercise. That's awesome. Good. Now just say the word. Go gee gee gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Good. Now a little higher. Gee gee gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Good. Now add a little bit of that yawning to it. Gee gee gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Same feeling. So much better. So much more relaxed. Why? Because you weren't trying to make it sound like something. Instead, you were just kind of speaking it on the pitch. Do it again. You went back to trying it. Just say it again. Gee, gee, gee.
Gee, gee, gee.
Wonderful. Feel the difference?
Yeah.
I know. It's just like, because when you're a singer, like you really want to like shoot for it. You know, you want to make it sound like a certain way, and you want to like scrunch your face and like gee, 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 you know. But a lot of the times, especially when your voice isn't 100%, you want to kind of just allow the sounds to happen rather than forcing them. Good. Wonderful. Take that out. Take that out. Just relax it. Good. Chill. Beautiful. We're coming back to chest. She's in chest now. Wonderful. Let's do that one more time, starting from the head. Good. And even just a little bit more spoken. Like you're not trying to make it sound like singing. You're just gee, gee, like geese. Perfect. You gave me a little nod there. What did you?
I felt it so much clearer, but I knew in my head I was registering it more as that I was speaking it and singing it, and then I could hear it. It was a lot clearer.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Perfect. Chest voice now. She killed it. Great work. Great work. So let me answer a couple more questions. And just a quick reminder, we did just reopen enrollment for 30-Day Songmaster, and look at her drinking water like she should. Just a quick reminder, we did reopen enrollment on 30-Day Songmaster. Every month we assign a new song to learn to sing, and it's a great community. You guys are gonna love it, so definitely check it out. A quick note, you definitely want to drink a lot of water when your voice is recovering too. And the kind of crazy thing is like, you'll hear that as we go through this lesson, her speaking voice may improve a bit.
Is it? It is improving.
It is improving.
Wow.
But it's also like, it's still raspy. Like, it's not like a fix like that. It's like if you like strain a muscle, you know, or you pull something in your back or something like that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that muscle to like chill out and relax a bit, right? So let's go back. Where did we leave off with questions?
So we kind of skipped down a bit to the head voice.
Oh yeah, how did I practice my head voice? Let's see. Let me see. All right, let me start from Sashwat. When I go higher doing the lip trill exercises, my mouth doesn't roll with my lips anymore. Like it suddenly stops. Then it's just your voice. Yeah. So with the lip trill, what I would really recommend, and this works for everyone, is just place your fingers in the middle of your cheeks and just flop your lips together. Now, yeah, exactly. Now, the thing that you want to focus on is not blowing a ton of air, like, because that'll stop them too. Yeah. So instead, you want to just imagine that you're letting the bottom and the top lips just kind of rest on each other and just vibrate. Now, some people do that better without the fingers, but I almost always insist that people use the fingers, because when you start going up to those high notes in your voice, like you're talking about, Sashwat, then you're forced to blow more air to keep the lips flopping. Whereas if you're using the fingers, you don't have to. I don't really have to push more air in order to keep them going. Instead, if I go, I have to push more air to keep them going. So that's why I always recommend that. Stephanie says, can you help me get better using my head voice? Is there anything I can do to get better? In 30-Day Songmaster, actually, if you join right now, it's kind of cool that you said that. We're actually working on the head voice right now, so definitely check that out. Alok says, bro, you ignored. I can't answer everyone, Alok. Let's see. Hi, Erwin said, hi, Matt. I wanted to ask for you, please. Are you lifting weights, calisthenics, or strength muscle? Does lifting weights, does exercise strength affect and strengthen the voice? So indirectly, basically any exercise that you can do is going to improve the blood flow throughout your body. And since the vocal folds are flesh and blood like everything else, improving your circulation is going to help them work better, right? So if you're just like sitting on the couch all day, then you get up, you might notice that your voice sounds like a little kind of like soggy, a little hoarse. And that's just because you've let like all this fluid kind of collect in the vocal cords. And instead, if you're up and around and you're moving and you go for a run or you lift weights or something like that, then you've allowed some of the circulation to happen. So great question. I'm going to answer 2 more questions, and then we're going to do just a little bit more work with you, and then we're going to sign off. So Kim said, hi, just a question. Should your core tense when you sing? I would say no. Like typically you don't want to have 6-pack abs, but you also don't want to just like let everything sag either. Go ahead.
I definitely feel like it's important that I'm like definitely activating my diaphragm when I'm singing.
And your diaphragm is different from your abs though, right?
Okay. Like I don't feel my lower core, I guess you're right, but I definitely.
You're keeping, so you want to keep a tall posture where your shoulders are in line with your hips and your hips are in line with your feet. So rather than just being slouched over, too far forward or too far back. And you also want to take a deep breath from the bottom of your stomach. So the feeling of like you're inhaling. And when you inhale, oftentimes we want the stomach to expand on that. But if you're tensing your abs too much, then you're not going to be able to get that freedom of movement that you need to get a good breath. But Franchesca was just saying that she feels her diaphragm engage when she sings. And yeah, you do want to add a little bit of pressure as you're singing. But one of the things that I see with a lot of singers who are just starting out is they tense everything thinking that's going to make them sound better. But if I tense my abs, you can actually hear that my throat gets tighter and my voice is getting tighter. And when I relax them, then my voice relaxes as well.
I can't emphasize enough about breathing into the stomach.
Yeah.
Like there's no sucking it in when you sing. Like
Mm-mm.
you're just seeing it come. Like I think that's the best thing I've ever done for my singing was learning how to sing into my stomach.
Yeah.
Or breathe into my stomach.
You can say it however you want. And the cool thing is like it feels different for everyone, and to everyone they might have like a different way of describing that. So she's talking about singing into her stomach. Other people call it singing from the diaphragm. Other people call it, where do we actually sing from? We actually sing from our throat, right? So it doesn't really have anything to do with the stomach exactly, but her visualizing that absolutely helps. Okay, great. So let's do one more thing. Let's do a nay, 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 but normal. So not nay, 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 not bratty. So nay, 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 just like you're saying neighbor. Nay, nay, nay. Good. Now a little higher. Nay, nay, nay.
Nay, nay, nay.
Now a little higher. Nay, nay, nay.
Nay, nay, nay.
Wonderful. Nay, 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 nay. Good.
Nay, 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 nay.
Good. Now you guys can probably hear how she's going. Like we're getting some dysphonia, right? The vocal cords are coming apart. So just say it again. Say neighbor.
Neighbor.
And now higher. Neighbor.
Neighbor.
Good. Neighbor.
Neighbor.
See, you can totally phonate on that pitch. You can totally hit it. You just have to switch the way you're thinking about it. So try it again. In the pitch. Here we go.
Nay, 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 nay.
That's a little better. Good.
Nay, 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 nay.
Nice job. F5.
Nay, 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 nay.
She's got it.
Nay, 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 nay.
See if you can talk that top note even a little bit more. You're still going just squeezy, little breathy on that top. Nay, 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 neighbor. That feeling.
Nay, 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 nay.
Yeah, good. Do you guys hear the difference there? Good, keep going.
Nay, 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 nay.
One more time, you can do that better.
Nay, 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 nay.
Perfect. Now I'm just going to do that same thing, and you're just going to repeat this to it. Nay, 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 nay.
Nay, 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 nay.
That's a C-sharp 5. She's killing it in her mixed voice. Her voice sounds vibrant. It sounds alive. How does it feel?
It feels still subpar to like I guess because my voice is so icky right now.
Yeah.
But it's exciting because I feel like I wasn't confidently singing that C-sharp 5
Yeah.
an hour ago.
But if you just listen to the quality of your speaking voice now
Yeah,
versus
I
at the beginning, like you were like down here. So there's like very little actual resonance going on there. Good. Keep going. Good. Good. Now you're coming back to chest. Good. Awesome job. Now, notice the progression that we went through here was we went from exercises that were really, let's say, supportive of your voice, like the to the key to the nay 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 nay. Notice that I'm going from more closed mouth exercises towards more open mouth exercises. And the reason that that's important is because if we went straight for saying, like her voice just would have completely fallen apart.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
Like when we were warming up earlier and then when we got to the gee, and I was like, I knew if we did anything open mouth, I'm like, oh, this is gonna hurt.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want it to hurt, especially because we have time. She doesn't have to perform until tomorrow, right? And so like just waking her voice up a little bit now is going to go a long way. Because remember, we're just her vocal cords were going like this all week long. And so now if we can just kind of massage them and alternate with rest, alternate with water, then you're going to be in really, really good shape tomorrow. Okay, let me search for one last really, really good question. And then just a quick reminder, we did just reopen enrollment for 30-Day Songmaster. Every month, you're going to learn to sing a new song that teaches a specific vocal skill. And then you send in a recording of yourself singing it for my feedback. It's really, really awesome, all for one low monthly price. So definitely check it out. great way to support the channel too. So let's see. Which here, you pick the last question that I should answer.
I feel like a little, a lot of pressure to pick the last question.
Okay.
I feel like we haven't heard from like this person or this
Soggy
person,
Baguette. We haven't heard from Soggy Baguette.
Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's such a teacher. She's like, okay, who haven't I called on? Okay. Which one?
You pick.
Okay.
You're the teacher here.
So, Soggy Baguette says, just get a kick out of your screen name. Soggy Baguette. There's nothing sadder than a soggy baguette.
Well, that's a sad question.
It is. Okay, let's see. How do I stop sounding like I'm singing from my nose? Okay, so singing from the nose, this is a really, really common thing, right? We're going to keep it about the positive part of that question, right? And I'm sorry that you've been told terrible things from your vocal coach.
Yeah,
but
not a growth mindset.
Not a growth mindset. It sucks, when you're told that you're just suck and you're just going to stay that way. So there's a couple things at play here when you're singing from your nose. So first of all, everyone's born with their own specific anatomy. And some people just have a slightly more nasal tone than others. I'm a person that because I have a deviated septum, like I just sound a little bit more nasal when I sing and when I speak. Now I can do lots and lots of exercises to consciously try to avoid sounding nasal when I sing that way, but my anatomy naturally sounds a little bit nasal, right? There are some people who, like, proportionally, they have really large noses relative to other features in their face. And as a result, it's just like this guitar that I have right over here. It's like if one of those strings is way bigger than the other strings, it's just going to naturally sound stronger, going to naturally sound bigger than the other strings. We haven't changed anything else, but it's just the anatomy of that guitar is different. Now, with what you're saying, a couple of things in terms of resonance that cause nasality. Number one, being a high larynx. So if I raise my larynx up high, then I've shrunk the resonating space in the back part of my throat. And so if my larynx is high, then this is all the space that I have to actually sing in my voice. Whereas if I go from here down to here, you've noticed that I've actually opened up the back of my throat a little bit more. So not all of it's just going to resonate in my nose. Now, the other thing that causes nasal resonance is singing nasally. If you sing with nasal resonance, if I'm placing all that tone in my nose, then it's just going to sound kind of nasally. So one thing that you can do that's going to actually help with both of these things is maybe something like a ba-ba-ba. Let's just try out. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Good. Good. Now try to place that tone in your nose like ba 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 ba. Yeah, it sounds and feels weird. Now do the same thing, but place it through your mouth. Ba 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 ba. Exactly. Great. Good. Now take that same feeling and do that on a mum. Now, the M consonant is naturally nasal. So that's going to have to go into my nose. Otherwise, I'd say ba 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 ba. I'm singing something kind of like a ba ba ba. So instead, if I go to mum, instead, try to keep the same feeling of singing straight out your mouth. Like mum. Exactly. Very good. Good. And so this nasality is something that you can definitely do exercises to prevent. The ba is a really, really great one because there's nothing nasal about a ba. It's completely oral, meaning that it's just coming from the contact of your lips, what we call a bilabial. Ba.
Yeah, you really can't. Like when you're like, let's do butt, I'm like, oh, it's forcing it into my mouth.
Yeah, you can't really make a nasal. You can go
It's weird.
but it's like it's not really meant to go there. It doesn't really go there well.
You can really feel that resonating space close when you ask me to do a nasal. It's like I have to close it off to get up there.
But when you do a ba, you can kind of feel the back of your throat open, kind of like it's a little bubble. Ba. Great question. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just a quick reminder before we wrap up. We did just reopen enrollment for 30-day Songmaster. So if you guys want personalized feedback on your voice and your singing of songs, definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to my wonderful guest, Franchesca Mejia. And let's wish her good luck in her singing tomorrow, because I think you sound way better. Bye.